what has been the biggest challenges for you as you enter the market in the US?
Well, I think the 800-pound gorilla in the room is uh, one of them. There's a couple. The customer acquisition cost and managing that. And when you're entering a market, you have opportunities to be efficient and the latest technology, and but also you have to be able to navigate through what it takes to get your brand established and get your client base rolling and maintain those customers. That's the first. The other elephant in the room in this case is price. Live by price, die by price. And there's always gonna be another provider with a lower price. So you have to be able to acknowledge that and be able to, and then ultimately solve the riddle for your own respective niches and companies. The third note I put here was related to getting your brand recognition established, right? So that's always going to be a challenge. And then the final one I'd like to bring up, which is really interesting. If you look at what the big MNOs are doing, they're big and they've got huge client bases, and they don't want to cannibalize their client bases in B2B or B2C. So what do? Right? They acquire fast-growing MVNOs like Mint Mobile would be a good example, and there's several others. You could look at Boost Mobile by Dish and others. So these are challenges because when you have an innovative newcomer that's doing very well, for example, like a Mint Mobile, we have to respond to that. And now that innovative plan at that point in time is now absorbed into a much more powerful and cash-rich company. So those are real challenges because fast-growing startups, even if they're going to hit 100 million or a couple $100 million, they're still growing and essentially financing their trajectory with their internal cash flow. You take $36 billion in bank with T-Mobile that is behind Mint Mobile. That's a real threat. So we have to acknowledge these, and but the opportunity is innovation, and we're just beginning in this innovation cycle in MVNO. So you just have to acknowledge these big challenges and be able to navigate around them.
Thank
Alex,
you.
can I add, John
Please.
mentioned that Mint and also Ultra was recently purchased by T-Mobile, and now they're looking at I believe US Cellular, not an MVNO, but Verizon bought the largest MVNO, TracFone, and launched their Total by Verizon brand. T-Mobile brought Metro in-house. Cricket is owned by AT&T. So when you look at all those brands that are out there that are fighting over price, it already is a race to the bottom. And to John's point and to Alex's point, and what I said earlier, you have to have a value add and a reason for someone to buy from you. And it can't be price, because you're not going to beat Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile in the price game. So you have to be able to cut through the clutter with your innovative differentiator that's going to, cause customers who want to change.
Yeah. I mean, just to follow up quickly, it's probably the most competitive market there is. And for a startup, it's highly cash intense, right? So you have to have a big marketing budget to get your name out there, to get yourself known. And that breaking through is quite tough. And one of the biggest challenges that we faced is really standing out in a space where so many providers are competing on price, And as both Johns and you, Alex, mentioned, if you really don't offer something different, then you risk getting completely lost in the crowd, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well,
And
our
one
next,
last note on this Alex T is, I mean, it's a huge industry, right? You just need a fraction of the business to have a successful enterprise, right? And so that pick your niche, be really good at it, acknowledge the aggregate and macro challenges, and navigate around them.
Excellent. That's a great point. The US market is so big. You don't need to have a very large piece of it to have a thriving business. And maybe you're not going head to head against MNOs, but there's still plenty of space for a scalable business even underneath that scale. Alex, let me ask the next question to you. How do you overcome some of these challenges? We all acknowledge
Mm.
there are some challenges, but the rewards are great. So how do you navigate and overcome some of these challenges?
Yeah, happy to answer that. So we focused on what people actually need, and how to deliver that in a way that feels seamless and intuitive. Digital identities are a good example. They solve a real issue, securely proving who you are without relying on physical documents. But they have to work simply and intuitively for users to embrace them, like any other application, payments and digital collectibles, etc. Um, our approach has been to build features step by step, right, and improving them along the way, focusing on the usability above all else. And we've also worked closely with partners to ensure that what we're offering isn't just innovative, but practical, right? And it's about really balancing vision with execution and always keeping the user experience at the center of everything. I think take care of the customer. The customer needs to be your biggest concern.
Hmm. Absolutely. Um, Anyone else? How would you solve for some of these challenges?
I can chime in there. I think a few notes from my playbook are, strategic partnerships. Um, and because remember, we have to battle the customer acquisition. That's a reality because our competitors are bigger and they've got deep pockets, almost bottomless pockets in some cases when you think about it. Um, uh, Pick your underserved niche. It's another note that seems to be recurring with the theme that will guide you to success. And you pick the best technology you can to run your business because we have an opportunity. It all depends on what your perception is. You could say, well, we have to compete against this big MNO and they've got $30 billion in unlimited cash. But again, that's okay because we can be more flexible and we can pick the latest AI technology for service and support and think in areas like that. So um, your strategics are key for your customer acquisition cost. Pick your underserved markets or your growth markets that make sense for you in B2B and B2C. You have an opportunity to do your due diligence and pick good technologies to run your company and your back end and how you support and take care of the client. And then this runs across many businesses, but run lean, and running lean is important. And there's a book actually years ago. It shows my age, but it was called Running Lean actually. And I recommend blowing the dust off that old book. And yeah, I think it'd be helpful to you.
Excellent. All right. And I want to kind of pick up on one of the things you said, John, was it, uh, picking your niche. And there's a reason why MVNOs exist in the first place, at least in the US market, is because MNOs are constrained. They have lots of resources, but what their constraint is management vision and attention. And the entire universe of possible verticals and new niche markets is simply not on the radar of most MNOs. They spend most of their time battling over the mass market, which would be about 2/3 of the US market, the postpaid market. And that's where a lot of the marketing efforts and attention's on. Well, there leaves another third of the market for on the prepaid space, and that's where most MVNOs in the US live. And MVNOs get very creative identifying unmet needs and underserved communities, and that's the key. And you pick your niche, like John said, and you execute to the best of your ability, and you manage your customer acquisition costs. Those are some key success factors. Any other comments?
I think that what they Alex and John said was key. I would add that you have to surround yourself with great partners. And most people coming to the MVNO space are new to wireless. They have a great vision, they have a great idea, but they don't know wireless. You need to align yourself. These people have been doing it for years, whether it's the
Mhm.
carrier, the aggregator, the enablers, the MVNE, the SIM card providers, the international long distance folks, the customer care. They are experts in there, and you have to build a great internal team, but an even better external team to execute on your vision and on your plan. And that is very, very important for what I've seen from my experience in launching MVNOs. That, you know, there's a lot of people out there that tell you what they can do, but if you look at past experience of what some of these great MVNOs have surrounded themselves with, that's the playbook that we try to bring to the table.
Hey,
Well,
Alex, I'd like to throw one more out there. I think it's pretty obvious, right? Let's throw a plug in for MVNO Nation. That you know, for Justina and her team and the production team and Eva that are bringing all these wonderful people together with the mind share. That all of us can collectively learn together. It's a big pond and there's plenty of fish in it. And you know, and we're all still small fish, and little fish stay close to the shore. Which is what I was taught growing up. And so the MVNO Nation is I think it is a way to overcome challenges, to get the mind share, be part of the event, learn from others, learn from the experience that some of us have, and others have different experiences that they bring to the table. So I think that's also another way to help you for those who are listening.
indeed. And just as a reminder, all big fish were once little fish as well, right?
Yeah, true.